What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. While everyone's staring over at Duel Overload and going, yeah, this card was missing, you better get it now, and also going, wow, this is in it, it's tanking in price, people seem to have missed that Pot of Desires has spiked on all fronts for every version of the card, especially the highest rarity. So let's go and get into each buyout and what I think of them. The common I would have thought would have prevented this. People weren't really chasing after it in order of the spellcasters, but it only has 4 freaking printings for such an iconic card that offers so much power. Let's not, oh, it's an Ignite. Stop it. It's 2020. We get the power that this card offers for its sacrifices, and so many more decks now can afford to play it to force hand traps, to be able to get the power off of 2 cards, because 2 cards does so much in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And of course, even the stun decks, yes, you have Extravagance, will like to end up playing this card to get 2 extra back row in mid-grind games, or even early when you don't draw that Extravagance. That being said, very few sellers have this with free shipping available if you're buying more of their cards, and they don't have big quantities of them. You can't get a playset from anybody on this first page, and it is quickly $4 for the common. That being said, just a few days ago we saw multiple were at $4 on the ultra rare, and now there's only one seller. They do have many at the $4 range, but after theirs are gone, this is a $5 card on TCG Player, and there are many copies also holding the line there. I think this card is good in this current metagame, and during the next one that develops, I think while there will be many pieces for combo decks that they need to fish out that are one-ofs, you can still afford to play this for the sacrifice and power that it makes depending on the deck you're playing. The ultimate rare is mind-boggling prices here, $140 freaking dollars for the ultimate rare, and we see that there is a play from the foreign market. More and more, whenever there's a buyout, it's very interesting. We see that foreign listings are flipping into the buyout faster than ever and at cheaper prices. OTS stores must review their agreements before selling this product. Yeah, it's OTS 11, so the major vendors can't be selling this at events either. Maybe there'll be more of them in play once they're able to. The first editions that I've told you were way too cheap at $12 to $13 whenever they'd hit that low. They are towards 22, so it's not like they've spiked towards 30 like I would have thought in this kind of situation, but maybe not a ton of eyes were on the mid-rarity version versus the ultimate rare, and then you have the budget holo with the ultra. Whenever you get too many mid-rarities, even when the original is heralded as great once upon a time, it can get lost in translation and only hover around certain prices. So it's not the biggest price bump there. If you're looking for first ed originals still, and you're like, oh man, I missed my... Nah, it's not that bad compared to where it was, but you're not getting the deal hookup where, you know, you could have got it. Now, speaking of Duel Overload, I keep nudging Tier 0 to list you more sealed cases instead of busting a ton of it for the singles, and they're still gonna bust a ton of it for the singles, by the way. They've told me they were able to order a little more last minute, so we do see cases restocked in decent quantities, and you can use code WhatsGood5 if you're deciding to go in. If I was going in, I would only go in either by the case or go for the singles, because by the case, you're gonna get a lot more of the entire field, and remember, you can actually divide this into what a normal core set would be of the $60 box equals 720. Well, 2 cases of this also equals 720. So once we see those ratios, we can really break down what's worth it and where. But the reprints, pretty much mind-boggling from Farfield last night, and let's go over what's not there first before we get over into like also what is there and what was crazy about it. Borreload Savage Dragon was a big disappointment to a lot of people. They were hoping it ended up there, but Borrel's Sword did sell a Battles of Legend, so it could have been possible that it would be missing here, not alongside Phantasme, and also Extravagance was missing. We'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah, I think you're out of your mind if you were expecting Apollosa. I've been calling this to sell Battles of Legend. They need to sell Battles of Legend in the Megatons still, especially in the dead of off-season, but we're going to ramp up into YCS Minneapolis, so we're going to get out of the off-season sooner than later this year with a really cool event. But she's actually down in price, by the way. Maybe people were a little bit scared, and also I've seen other meta cards kind of trekking down, like Masquerena was pushing 52. Now you can find her at 46 on TCG Player, and the $5 gap is finally gone. We see one at 43 before it's 45 and 46. So Masquerena quickly catches up on eBay to TCG Player finally as prices are cooling off, and there's a huge line of these $46 ones. It's not like it's just a couple of sellers. it seems to be down in price, and I predicted this to be 55 to 60 in the room at the WCQ, so really nice to see this price coolant. Blackluster Soldier, people were freaking scared that this was gonna be in there, especially with the initial reveals from Jerome and mentions of Link monsters and that kind of stuff. Him and Avermax both missing, yet still a couple motivated sellers down in price before it spikes back up towards that 70. And what's really missing to me is Lambda. Lambda, when I'm staring this card down, will probably get that displacement value bump from all Mirage getting slammed. A lot of people choosing to play Lambda in the current format. It enables your sci frames. A ton of people choosing to play Gamma, and that spiked in price. I think Lambda will be going up in price pretty soon because of that being missed. But again, that's just my opinion. Let me know your take. Anytime we see within a set there be displacement value, like this is tanking from 30, something else in the top couple of cards tends to really spike. It was Sarah for a little bit. She's going back down too from that hype of there being a new Trap Tricks card. I think Lambda will be the true winner out of the top 5 here, or maybe the heroes creep up at some point with the Master Rule. Madolches, I called Hoot Cake being missing. Who would have guessed Angeli? Who would have guessed, like, that being left behind? Really, I get that these each only had one printing and Angeli had a second printing, but wow, Konami missed the boat on that. Maybe the, Secret Slayers doesn't have everything in the set list, and they tend to pick up a few things that were missing from sets before in those reprints, and there will be 20 reprint slots usually in a set like that. Angeli could be in there in time for the WCQ with the curveball. Also, the Toon Chaos set has some reprint slots, but I don't think they'll be focusing on any cards like this. We might be waiting till Battles of Legend or the Adamantia set to see Angeli / Hoot Cake, and Hoot Cake's already calmed down. I had a ton of people having eyes on that early with the theory that it's not going to be like Necros. It's 100 cards. They know there's no way they could fit everything in. Hoot Cake was likely to be left behind, and Tiramisu is also bumping up even for a common running out of stock. Between the lowest rarities, would you take the common or the gold rare? Let me know in the comment section below. But the ultra rare has bumped up, and of course the ulti has been spiking for a while. Giant Rex was missing. It's still $3, very available. I called this to be with Double Evolution Pill if it was in the set, alongside the Battles of Legend Brother reprints, and it's missing. And guess what? We have a Structure Deck Rewave. It's not going to be there. This has one printing. I would pick yours up sooner than later using that TCG player link in the description down below, of course, costing you nothing extra and supporting the channel directly for cards you'd already be buying. But also, Dolka and Lagia are nowhere to be seen. I'd love to see a Battles of Legend reprint where this gets secret rared and then this gets ultra rared. I would love that to actually happen so people can mix and match rarities they want. This deserves a downgrade after so long. And Lagia himself, he deserves that secret rare. Of course, the Ultimate First are ridiculous. They're towards $25. Dino Rabbit format shoutouts. I've been hunting down past format cards, and I've been kind of watching this one and waiting for a good price. Nah, I'm going to have to play lowest rarity at some point. But the 10 ones still, you can find pretty cheap copies overall of Lagia. This is a decent penny stock if this doesn't get reprinted. Konami might actually see there's a dollar version and glaze this over, so you might want to have your Lagias sooner than later. Although, ultra rare, of course, if you can, and it's affordable, and it is. It's only $250, so Lagia is definitely something I would want to have in my arsenal. Duel Saga gave it a more recent reprint, is why all of these are down in price, though. It's a decent penny stock on all fronts, in my opinion. But I prefer the original Ultra over Duel Saga, but maybe more new duelists prefer the Duel Saga version themselves. Pot of Extravagance. This was announced for the Toon Chaos set. We saw some panic selling early on. There's panic selling on eBay that's way further down towards 70, but a lot of people not willing to budge on this early on because, well, it's a day before the US WCQ, meaning people would be scrambling in the room to get this, and maybe not enough copies would make its way over. Still, to me, I think even if the Rewave is short printed, it'll end up similar to Ash Blossom, a $30 card. So if vendors are juicing in the room at 40 to 45, well, you're making a lot of money by selling them now. Also, it could appear in Rarity Collection 2 forms, so maybe the lower rarity version would still be even more available, and the Rarity Collection version is what would really sell. Konami hasn't really been good about giving us more of a lower rarity version, though. We've obviously seen that with Prismatic, so I wouldn't count on it. But I could see it being $40 in the room. Still, save yourself your money on that play set. Get rid of these now, sooner than later, in my opinion. The invoked engine is cooling off a little. The buyouts from all of these, this was at 8, this is now towards 5. Raijin was ridiculous, you see is towards 13 if this is updated. I know TCG Player has trouble keeping up some days, yeah. So everything's cooling off a little bit. People have been asking me, do you think invoked will be here, there? The Secret Slayers, I keep going back to this, it's not fully printed for the set list in the USA. They still have options to change whatever could be in their set because it's not finished in the OCG and reprints happen to be different. So we're in the window where Konami could decide to end up putting stuff like Invocation as a reprint, or in some of the Invoke cards that never got reprinted. They could put that in the Secret Slayers if they want, or they can hold it for Battles of Legend. If I was a betting man, I'd say Battles of Legend, but I don't know, something's tugging at me and giving me extra hope on the reprints for Secret Slayers, more than perhaps I should be, but I am hoping. So this is a lot of the stuff that was missing from Duel Overload. I figured Invoked got too recent of a hype. They already have Duel Overload figured out. There was no way it was going to make that window, but I could see like a real rush for it in Secret Slayers, if not Battles of Legend. If you have this extra you've been holding on, it's going down a little right now. The Master Rule could respike it. Secret Slayers also comes out right around the Master Rule. I might move these, but again, I wouldn't bank on it being in there. It's just kind of like one of those eyebrow-raising Konami. Are you on your game? Do you have this ready? Sort of things that I'm thinking of. Now, price drops that are real hard. Dengirsu is by far the hardest. I called this being an under $5 card once it's reprinted. You could short it. It's a generic 8. Yes, Orcus has some gas coming for it, so you could see it get a little value back. Think of how long Heretic Spheres took to be appreciated, and that was an original printing to Dual Power. For Duel Overload, a lot of things like this are going to be $1 to $2 cards that, while chased after, they just stay low despite what they are. And you could also see a rarity upgrade to this in the Megatons and Prismatic Secret Rare later on. It's just not a good hold, and people realize that, and they are just chunking it out their window, trying to get rid of it at one of the biggest losses. All Mirage also down towards 18. Many things are falling right now. I feel like it's kind of lazy content to just go, this is falling, that is falling, this. Yeah, we know. It was reprinted. It's more impressive when something holds a bit. By the way, final thoughts. Avermax was something people were hoping was in this set, and it's not, so you might want to pick yours up sooner than later. I don't see it personally getting a reprint beforehand, and people were rolling really deep on this. Yu-Gi-Oh! Black Market up here early, and a ton of different top-rated sellers. Wow. So Avermax is one that I'm seeing more play on Dueling Book, more play in different lists. I like this card a freaking lot, and it pairs well with Masquerena. It's really stolen Dark Neostorm despite being overprinted in a one of in the extra deck. Konami, let this be a lesson. Short printing doesn't need to sell a set. Your top card is now an overprinted secret, while you've definitely done a lot to other things. Also, speaking of Master Rule, Cherubini might be a little underrepresented in terms of its price on market, depending on how the FNL list shapes up towards BEA. That's the only Xyz deck I could see getting some preemptive hits. But all of this is a lot of speculation. I'm starting to ramble. I get into vendor mode with Konami's thoughts, because Konami definitely does think about what they can reprint and make money on when they're constructing the ban list. Nobody's arguing that one. Thank you for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Check out the Patreon, the mailed tiers, the $20 tier. I believe we're now in 20 freaking states. I want to be in 25 by the end of this month, so please sign up, and I'll mail it to multiple people in the same state. I'll try to get you guys a list and a couple more videos of the states that I have, but tonight I've got to start packaging stuff and mailing out, unless you pick the ultimate tier. The ultimate rares, I have a huge shipment coming in from Eternity Code and other past sets where we didn't get ultimate rares, and I'm getting some awesome choices, some very spicy ones. So ultimate rares will mail out later in the month, but I think it's worth waiting for. I've got some real nice looking ones coming in. That being said, again, thank you guys so much. I couldn't do what I do for a job without you guys, and I love doing this every day. When I was vending, it turned what I love into office work, and doing these videos, getting to just talk about the game and play the game, that's where my heart is. And if I can share my knowledge and it helps you people save money and make smarter choices, and I get a lot of feedback on that lately, it's what I want to be doing, and I love doing this. Thank you guys so much for building up this community with me and around me.